Good evening, friends, and welcome to our Monday evening Zen service and practice. Um, I'm happy to be sitting with you today on a slightly cloudy Tuesday morning here from Vietnam. Um, but the cloudiness just kind of makes it look like December, right? So it's a good thing. Anyway, I'm glad you joined me today, and we will begin our service with our normal liturgy. So I'll pull that up for you. Here we go. And you see my son in the background. Just woke up, but Daddy has Zen practice. I pay homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. I pay homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. I pay homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. And now for the three refuges. I take refuge in the Buddha. May all sentient beings understand the great way profoundly and bring forth the Bodhi mind. I take refuge in the Dharma. May all sentient beings deeply enter the Sutra treasury and have wisdom vast as the sea. I take refuge in the Sangha. May all sentient beings form together a great assembly, one and all in harmony. And now for the Bodhicitta prayer. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. And now for the 6 perfections. As bodhisattvas, we seek to practice generosity, discipline, patience, exertion, meditation, and wisdom. Okay, so we will now begin our first 15 minutes of meditation, wherever you are. I always want to say seated meditation, but that's not always the case, and we know that. But meditation wherever you are, whether you're laying in bed, whether you're sitting in the car, just when driving, drive, right? When washing dishes, wash dishes. So I don't have my chukpi today. I'm going to be traveling over the next few weeks, and so I figured I would start using a bell. I would welcome the bell for our meditation, and yeah, so that's what I'm going to use today. Okay. Okay, we will now chant or recite the Gata on the opening of the sutras. So let me share that with you. Okay, how about that one, huh? I can switch those. There we go. This Dharma, incomparably profound and minutely subtle, is rarely encountered, even in hundreds of thousands of millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, hold and maintain it. May we completely realize the true mind of all Buddhas. Okay, so good evening, everyone. I'm glad you're here. If you saw on YouTube or Facebook my announcement for today's practice session, you may have seen a picture of a Christmas tree with a Buddha and a figure to represent Jesus. And let me see if I can share that real fast here. And the reason why I did that is because today I want to talk about Buddhists and Christmas. And how do we as Buddhists recognize holidays like that are not necessarily a part of our Buddhist tradition, but maybe a part of our culture, a part of our past, a part of our history, a part of our family. And so let me pull that picture up real fast. It looks like this. How's that? So that's what I wanted to talk about today, was Buddhists and Christmas. I'm going out of town this coming Sunday, and I will be traveling throughout a 2-week Christmas holiday period. And so I figured this may be my last chance to have a sit down and talk about Christmas. I notice, I've been retired for several years now, but I noticed that a lot of offices are having their Christmas parties this time of the year. And I thought, what an interesting time for offices, because in America, we have people of all religions and many people of no religion who still enjoy a Christmas holiday party with their colleagues. It's a time to celebrate new beginnings with the new year coming up, etc. But Christmas means a lot to some people, including me. And so I want to talk about that because it has a cultural significance in a lot of families, to a lot of people in the West. And why is that so, and how do we make it a part of ourselves as Buddhists, right? Thich Nhat Hanh has written a number of books. He's passed away, of course, but when he was alive, he wrote a number of books that talked about Buddhism and Christianity, Buddha and Christ as brothers. And anyway, so recently I was reading his book, Going Home. Buddha and Jesus as brothers, I think it is. And he raises some good points in there that I really wanted to kind of talk about today. And that was, one of the things that Thich Nhat Hanh mentioned was, a lot of people come to Buddhism because they've been hurt. Westerners, I'm talking about. Those of us not raised in a Buddhist family. We come to Buddhism maybe because we've been hurt by our minister, by our family members, by some tragic event, something led us to seek something new. And as I mentioned previously, um, in one of my previous Dharma talks, a lot of us have something in common, and that is we were suffering. And we came to Buddhism because we sought to end our suffering. And when we did, a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us kind of rejected our past. Maybe we rejected our family. Maybe we rejected our previous religion. And we found what we hope would be a new home in Buddhism. Nyat Han says in his book, Going Home, if we truly want to be happy, we have to attach ourselves. Not attach, that's not the right word. We have to accept our culture, be a part of our culture, our history, our ancestors, because they are a part of us. If you come from a family, a Christian family that celebrated Christmas, that's a part of you. If, like me, you woke up early on Christmas morning to go and run in and look around the tree and see what Santa Claus brought you, or see what presents were under the tree, or if right after Thanksgiving you couldn't wait for your parents to drive the family down and pick out a Christmas tree, maybe you went out into the forest and cut one down and brought it home. Maybe in a more modern era, you climbed up into the attic and took out the box with the artificial Christmas tree in it. But you couldn't wait to hang it up, hang the lights on it, hang the ornaments, maybe string popcorn you made when you were in second grade, whatever. It's part of you. It's part of your history. It's part of your heritage. You, your parents, your grandparents, your ancestors practiced many of those traditions for many years, for generations. And so when we talk in Buddhism that we are empty of self-existence, and that all dharmas are empty, and we talk about emptiness of the five senses, etc., it doesn't mean we're empty of our past. It doesn't mean we're empty of our ancestors. We are not. They are a part of us. They are part of those conditions that led to our existence. So don't be afraid to embrace them. Don't be afraid to embrace Christmas time. When you were a child, I'm sure you were excited about Christmas. If you're a parent, you were probably excited to share Christmas with your children. You don't have to stop doing that because you're Buddhist. Celebrate the goodness that you see in the world. Truth is true no matter where you find it. Happiness is happiness no matter where you find it. True happiness. So true happiness can come from being together with family, to celebrating peace on earth, loving kindness, compassion. Those same things that Jesus taught are the same things that the Buddha taught. Love your neighbor. Compassionate, true love to your neighbor. Care. Have peace on earth. feed the poor, right? Those fundamental parts of Christianity are fundamental parts of Buddhism. You don't have to reject them. Thich Nhat Hanh, like I said, he's written a couple of books about Christ and Buddha. And in one of those, people asked him, and he answered their questions. Hey, do you think Jesus knew Buddha? Do you think how do you think the Buddha would have known, what would he have said to Jesus if they were to meet today? And Nhat Hanh said, they have met. They do meet. They meet every day. And they say to each other, how do we make peace on earth? How do we make people more loving, more kind to their neighbor, more sympathetic, more compassionate? You see, because I'm Buddhist, and when I go down to the coffee shop and I sit next to a Christian and we drink our coffee together, and we laugh and we joke and we have a good time, Buddha is my ancestor, and Jesus is his ancestor, and they meet and they talk and they meet in friendship. Buddha meets Jesus in friendship every day around the world. And if, like me, you were raised in a Christian religion, and now you have adopted Buddhism as your religion or as your way of life, Buddha and Jesus meet inside you. And it doesn't have to be a fight. It shouldn't be. It's an embrace. It is, I was raised with the idea of loving my neighbor. I was raised with the idea of peace on earth. I was raised with the idea of compassion. And now, as a Buddhist, I embrace those same ideas, and I strive every day to practice them with other people. Christmas is a beautiful time of the year. Whether you're in the northern hemisphere where it snows, or the southern hemisphere where it's summertime, or whether you're in the tropics like I am where the weather's always the same, it's beautiful. And people still decorate their homes. They hang their Christmas trees. They put wreaths on the door. Is it commercialized? Yeah, in a lot of ways it is. And yet for a lot of people there are traditions there that bind them to their ancestors. Grandma's favorite recipe. My grandmother had a favorite banana caramel pie. And I make that nearly every year for Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's the only time of the year as I make it, Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I'll be traveling this year at Christmas, and I was traveling at Thanksgiving. So this year I didn't get to enjoy that. But maybe before New Year I'll make one, because I'll be back home right after Christmas. But those are traditions, because you see, my grandmother still lives in me. In every one of my cells in my body, my grandmother is there. In every one of my cells, my father is there. My mother is there. My siblings are there. We share a commonality. So while this body may be empty of self-existence, it is not empty of my past. It is not empty of my family, of my culture. So it's not empty of Christ. It's not empty of Christmas or Easter or the 4th of July. It's a part of me. And if I embrace it, along with my Buddhist values, I embrace the happiness and beauty of the world. And you can and should too. So as a Buddhist, I tell you Merry Christmas. I hope you have a wonderful season with your family. Celebrate. Celebrate peace on earth. Celebrate the happiness that family and the teachings of Jesus bring to your lives, of peace, of loving your neighbor, of doing good unto others, as you would have them do unto you, of being the Good Samaritan, loving your enemy. Fundamental Buddhist values as well. So think about it, folks. If you're afraid to celebrate Christmas, don't be. If you're afraid of your past, don't be. You don't have to dwell on it. And I'm not talking about dwelling, I'm not talking about not being afraid of your former religion or your minister that hurt your feelings or your family members that, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about let those feelings go and embrace the happiness. It's who you are. It courses through your veins. So embrace it. Merry Christmas, my friends. And may you have a wonderful, happy New Year. And I hope to see you along my trip. I'll be in Korea for a week. I'll be in Taiwan for a week. Hopefully visiting lots of temples, seeing some cultural sites. My little boy does not remember ever seeing snow. He saw it when he was a baby. We took him up in the mountains in California when we lived there. But in his, he's 7, and in his memory, he remembers no snow. So he really wants to see snow when we go to Korea. And in a lot of people's minds, snow means Christmas, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. So I hope to help him celebrate Christmas that way. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead of you, and let's enjoy another 15 minutes of seated meditation. Okay, it's time for some together action, as we call chanting. So we will chant the Heart Sutra together. Pull that up for everyone. Make it fit. We'll make it fit. There we go. I think that works, right? Good. Okay. Lamaham prajñam paramita hridaya sutra Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, when practicing deeply the prajna paramita, perceives that all five skandhas are empty and is safe from all suffering and distress. Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. That which is form is emptiness. That which is emptiness, form. The same is true of feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness. Shariputra, all dharmas are marked with emptiness. They do not appear or disappear, are not tainted or pure, do not increase or decrease. Therefore in emptiness, no form, no feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no color, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of eyes, and so forth, until no realm of mind consciousness, no ignorance, and also no extinction of it, and so forth, until no old age and death, and also no extinction of them, no suffering, no origination, no stopping, no path, no cognition, also no attainment, with nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva depends on prajna paramita, and the mind is no hindrance. Without any hindrance, no fears exist. Far apart from every perverted view, one dwells in nirvana. The three worlds, all Buddhas depend on prajna paramita and attain anuttara samyak sambodhi. Therefore know that prajna paramita is the great transcendent mantra, is the great bright mantra, is the utmost mantra, is the the supreme mantra, which is able to relieve all suffering and is true, not false. So proclaim the Prajna Paramita mantra. Proclaim the mantra which says Gatte Gatte Para Gatte Para Samgatte Bodhi Swaha. Gatte Gatte Para Gatte Para Samgatte Bodhi Swaha. Gatte Gatte Para Gatte Para Samgatte Bodhi Swaha. All right. So we will now do our dedication of merit. I can make that a little bit bigger, can't I? It's a little small to read. Not for me, I can see it, but I'm afraid you won't be able to see it, and I want you to be able to follow along. So let's see if I can make it a little bit bigger. There we go. That's better. All sentient beings are one seamless body and pass quickly from birth to death. We remember those who cared for us and are gone, those who are ill, those who are at war, who are hungry, and who are in pain. May they heal and have peace. We especially dedicate our service to Elaine, Joseph Hahn, Tom, Sandy, Evelyn, Mason, Mylan, and Braden. All beings in the 10 directions, subject to the greed, hatred, and delusions of themselves and others. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all honored ones, Bodhisattva Mahasattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom, Maha Prajna Paramita. All right, now we will do the 4 great vows. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to save them all. Delusions are endless. We vow to cut through them all. The teachings are infinite. We vow to learn them all. The Buddha way is inconceivable. We vow to attain it. Friends, life and death are of supreme importance. Time passes swiftly by and opportunities to awaken are easily lost. Strive to realize your true nature. Do not squander your time by night or day. Have a wonderful week ahead of you, and I will see you on Wednesday. I was trying to think in my head when our next morning session is. I think it is the Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. We will meet again. That's it. Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time for our 30-minute practice session. So until then, have a wonderful evening and a wonderful week ahead of you. And may you enjoy the holidays with your family and friends. Merry Christmas.